Hi, Shadie.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to sit down and have a good conversation with you about what you've done prior to making a move to Dubai,
Sure.
and also to find out a little bit more about what your expectations was versus what the reality is now that you're living it day in, day out. So, first and foremost, let's go back to before you moved to Dubai and tell me a little bit about yourself and what your career path was before making the transition.
Sure. So before I moved to Dubai, I was working for quite a well-known company in London, an estate agent company. I actually started off in admin and then worked my way up to becoming an estate agent, specialising in lettings. It was lovely. It was amazing. You know, London's where I was brought up and I grew up there. But there was always this big attraction about Dubai that everybody was raving about, and I was just like, I need to be there to actually see what it's like, you know. So real estate was always the dream, and I thought Dubai would be the place to go ahead with that. So made the move to Dubai to see what all the glamorous lifestyle was like. Really, yeah.
Fair enough, makes sense. What made you get into real estate in the first place back in the UK? Obviously, you started off in admin.
So admin was definitely the first job that kind of got me into the corporate world. Prior to that, I was actually working in hospitality.
Okay.
So then that got me into the corporate world, and I just saw how busy everybody was as an estate agent, kind of in and out of the office all the time, the buzz that they got from kind of getting their first sale.
Yep.
Just the lifestyle of it really I fell into and really enjoyed that and wanted to be a part of that. So that's what then put me into the position of becoming an estate agent really, and then fell in love with property.
Perfect. And in terms of, can you remember the day that you thought, actually, I want to make a move to Dubai? So I know I actually sent you a message on LinkedIn probably 6 months, maybe a little bit longer before you actually joined the business.
Yeah.
So talk me through your thought process of actually making a move to Dubai and why you decided to make the move when you did.
When you first sent me the message, actually I'd never been to Dubai, and everybody is always ranting about, come to Dubai, the dream is here, you know, you can live the lifestyle here. So I was like, okay, it was always a thought in the back of my head. But then I visited Dubai in September, and I think everybody would tell you the same thing. You instantly fall in love as soon as you get here, and it's just a completely different world. That was kind of the point where I thought, this is the place that I want to be. This is a place where I can see myself, you know, really growing and developing as a person in my career. And then, reached back out to you and thought, this is the time now. So made the move in December, January.
Yeah, so you obviously haven't been with us for too long, but made a lasting impression already.
I think so.
Take that as a good or bad. But yeah, so obviously making a move to Dubai, it makes sense to speak to numerous different people. Obviously, I would imagine you would have interviewed with one or two businesses as anyone does.
Yeah.
What was it that stood out about MHM Properties?
Yeah.
And why did you decide to join our business?
So, I mean, as I mentioned previously, I come from a very big company in London, one where the name spoke for itself. And then I thought, although the name is great and it's doing the job for me and I was excelling quite well there, I just thought I think I'd have a lot more chance in growing and progressing to where I really want to be. I feel like it would be a more fast-tracked environment for me to be in, to go into a more boutique agency, you know. And like you mentioned, I had spoken to quite a few big companies from Dubai as well before I came out here. But once again, MHM just stood out for me because I knew that's where I would get the most progression, the most recognition, which is something that I was definitely looking for. I think it's definitely, stood by that. I think the fast track progression has definitely been something that has gone through. And same goes for the recognition, really. That's one thing I can't really, put down about the company. The progression, the recognition is great.
That makes sense. So it had nothing to do with me then?
No, nothing to do with you.
Wow. There was me thinking it was me that was spearheading your move to Dubai. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit let's move it along a little bit. Obviously, you've been with the business now for, I want to say, probably shy of 8-9 weeks.
Yeah.
Conducted multiple viewings, negotiated on multiple offers, and done deals. which is fantastic. But what was your expectations moving out to Dubai versus living it every single day?
I mean, I guess there is pros and cons to everything that you do in life when you're taking a new step, a big leap. I think the expectation that everybody set for me was come out to Dubai, you need to have so much life savings that you need to dedicate to Dubai. And I just thought, this is really daunting.
Yeah.
And although I didn't come out here with that, it's still, I don't think that was necessarily the case, you know. Everybody says give yourself 2 to 3 months before you make your first deal, which I would say definitely do.
Yep.
But at the same time, if you really want it, you know, I had a chat with Mohammed, the CEO, recently, and we was discussing, you know, if you really want it, it will be shown in the work that you put in within the first month, within the first 2 months. And I feel like that is exactly what I done and prospered from that already. And the results are there and speak for themselves. So I think, the expectation is that everybody kind of tries to scare you a little bit. I mean, it might be preparing you for the worst, which is good. But at the same time, I think there are chances where you can come out here and if you really want it, you work hard for it and it will come your way.
100%. It's definitely one of those roles that, you know, you get out what you put in. And I've definitely seen that with yourself so far. Obviously, you're still very young within your journey. But we're expecting big things.
I expect to bring big things,
big things. So in terms of the next 5 months, the next 6 months, the next 12 months, have you set yourself targets, goals, achieve, you know, what do you want to achieve?
100%. So as I mentioned, progression was obviously a massive thing for me coming out here, and MHM was the one company that I knew could provide me with that. So although, like you mentioned, I am still young into my experience here in Dubai and kind of my journey, I plan on just growing that a little bit more. And then eventually, you know, within the next 2 months, I'd like to think that I could become sales manager, something along the lines of that, you know, get myself my own team, specialize in more than 2 communities at the moment. And just, kind of get the pipelines growing, clients that are repeat customers, build great relationships with landlords, and just make myself a little bit more known in Dubai and be the go-to person when looking for a property, I think.
That makes sense. And, you know, all those things that you've said there, you know, from what I see day in, day out, definitely on track to achieve some of them goals, which is fantastic. But I can't wait to watch you, you know, grow within the business. Good things so far. Let's hope they stay that way. But thank you for joining me today.
No worries. Thank you.
Cheers.